Las Vegas welcomed 400,000 fewer visitors this past June compared to the same time last year. That's an 11% drop, the first double-digit decline since 2021. And it's not just American tourists who are drying up. Canadians usually comprise the largest block of international visitors to Las Vegas. Data shows that year-over-year, Canadian tourists have dropped by 55%. Analysts blame Donald Trump's trade wars and tariff tantrums. And with Canada, Trump just erupted again. Look, we were like Canada. I love Canada. I have so many friends in Canada. But they've been very poorly led. They've been very, very poorly led. And all we want is fairness for our country. Canada's Prime Minister responded on social media, saying in part, Canadians will be our own best customer, creating more well-paying careers at home as we strengthen and diversify our trading partnerships throughout the world. In the ever-evolving landscape of global politics, few figures have stirred as much controversy as U.S. President Donald Trump. A recent viral video captures a moment of exasperation. We must put America first. This is a nation that invented the light bulb, the telegraph, the television, the telephone, the computer chip, the smartphone, the GPS, the integrated circuit, and even the internet. Basically, we invented everything. What is left? We invented everything. And now it's AI. We invented everything. Does anyone have anything else to say? Comments followed by laughter and groans with one person remarking, "He's so egotistical." This sentiment, shared by many, has transcended borders, sparking discussions about the state of the U.S. under Trump's leadership. For many outside the U.S., particularly in Canada, this frustration has translated into action, a boycott of American tourism that is reportedly having a significant impact on the U.S. economy. What are the effects of this boycott? Let's hear voices within the U.S. and reflect on its broader implications. The sentiment captured in the video is relatable to many. Scrolling through social media, it's not uncommon to stumble upon a statement from Trump that elicits a mix of disbelief and amusement. As one Canadian content creator shared, "I don't know how many times I've scrolled on my phone and then suddenly turned to my wife and said, 'Oh my God, you're not going to believe what the orange guy said.'" Now, this reaction, echoed by his wife and countless others, underscores a growing disillusionment with the U.S. political climate. For many Canadians, this frustration has fueled a decision to redirect their travel plans, opting for destinations in Europe, Asia, or even within Canada itself. The boycott's economic impact is becoming increasingly evident. A U.S. congressional candidate, Doug Hune, highlighted the dire consequences in a recent video. Well, folks, here's the truth. Donald Trump's policies didn't just close our borders, they wrecked our economy. Tourism to the United States is down 61%. That means empty hotels, shuttered restaurants, and millions of jobs lost in cities like Las Vegas, New York, Miami, and right here home. Hune attributes this decline to Trump's trade wars, anti-immigration rhetoric, and fear-based policies, which have made the U.S. less appealing to international visitors. His decision to run for Congress stems from a desire to reverse this trend, emphasizing the need to open our doors, rebuild our reputation, and bring jobs back to the communities. Hune's perspective is not isolated. Another American content creator provided hard numbers to illustrate the boycott's impact, focusing specifically on Canadian tourism. Last year, 2024, you brought in $20 billion in money to the United States with your tourism. That was 140,000 jobs that were created to support you guys coming into the continental United States. The loss of this revenue is significant, particularly for industries reliant on tourism, such as hospitality, retail, and entertainment. The creator noted that many Canadians are now choosing to travel elsewhere, with some redirecting substantial vacation budgets ranging from $3,000 to $100,000 away from the U.S. The numbers are staggering. Another U.S. content creator claimed that 36% of Canadians who had planned trips to the U.S. have canceled, leading to a 70% drop in bookings. While the exact figure of 70% is debated, some sources suggest a more conservative decline of 30 to 43%. The trend is undeniable. The creator emphasized that Canadians alone spent billions in the U.S. in 2024, and with the boycott intensifying, the projected loss for 2025 could reach $29 billion. This figure represents a significant blow to an economy already grappling with the fallout of polarizing policies. The boycott is not limited to Canada. Reports indicate that travelers from Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and other regions also opting out of U.S. travel, citing Trump's leadership as a deterrent. One creator stated, "We are being boycotted by every country in the world, a sentiment that underscores the global scale of the backlash." The cumulative effect of these decisions is a tourism industry in crisis, with ripple effects felt across multiple sectors. Hotels stand empty, restaurants struggle to stay afloat, and small businesses in tourist-heavy areas like Florida and California face mounting challenges. Not everyone in the U.S. acknowledges the severity of the situation. In May 2025, a business owner in Kennebunk, Maine, dismissed the boycott as just a hype, predicting that tourism would rebound by summer. However, as July draws to a close with no signs of recovery, such optimism appears misplaced. The content creator who shared this clip expressed frustration at the dismissal, noting that it completely dismisses what's happening right now. This disconnect highlights a broader divide within the U.S., where some remain insulated from the boycott's impact while others feel its consequences acutely. The aviation industry provides further evidence of the boycott's effects. A TikTok creator cited a Financial Times report stating that Air Canada is reducing its U.S. flight capacity due to decreased demand. "They are not coming. They are not going to come," the creator emphasized, noting that Air Canada is redeploying aircraft to other international destinations. This shift is significant. While some flights to the U.S. may still be full, the overall number of flights has decreased dramatically. For example, a city that once had 4 daily flights from Canada might now have only 1 or 2, representing a 50 to 75% drop in passenger volume. In some cases, entire routes are being cancelled due to insufficient demand. The boycott's timing is particularly damaging. Summer 2025, typically a peak season for U.S. tourism, has seen a sharp decline in visitors. Families who would normally flock to Disneyland, Universal Studios, or national parks are choosing alternative destinations. While some Canadians still travel to the U.S., often due to bookings made before the 2024 election or financial constraints preventing cancellations, the broader trend is clear. The question now is what happens after the summer season. Destinations like Florida, Arizona, and Palm Springs, which rely heavily on Canadian snowbirds during the winter months, face an uncertain future. Early reports suggest that Florida's real estate market is already teetering, with the tourism industry struggles exacerbating economic pressures. The boycott reflects a broader moral stance. As a Canadian noted, a strong majority, including myself, are holding in line, and we're standing up for what's morally right for our country. For many, the decision to avoid the U.S. is not just economic but ideological, rooted in opposition to policies perceived as divisive or exclusionary. This sentiment is echoed in comments from viewers who report redirecting their travel plans to countries that align more closely with their values. The financial impact, while significant, is secondary to the message being sent, a rejection of a political climate that many find unwelcoming. The U.S. response to the boycott varies. While some, like Doug Hune, advocate for change and a return to openness, others downplay the issue or attribute it to external factors. Mega supporters, for instance, have dismissed the boycott's impact, with some claiming that full flights disprove its existence. However, as a TikTok creator pointed out, this argument overlooks the reduction in flight frequency, which masks the overall decline in visitors. The reality is that the U.S. is losing billions in tourism revenue with no immediate recovery in sight. Looking ahead, the boycott's long-term implications are sobering. If tourists continue to avoid the U.S. until Trump's term ends, the economic toll could be catastrophic. As one creator warned, the loss of jobs, revenue, and international goodwill could reshape the U.S.'s standing in the global community. For now, the boycott serves as a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of global economies and the far-reaching consequences of political rhetoric. As a Canadian creator concluded, Based on the clips we just watched from U.S. citizens themselves, I think it's pretty clear. Yes, it is making a difference. In conclusion, the boycott of U.S. tourism by Canadians and others reflects a confluence of economic, political, and moral factors. It underscores the power of collective action in sending a message to a nation whose policies have alienated many of its closest allies. As the U.S. grapples with the fallout, voices like Doug Hunes offer hope for a course correction, but the path forward remains uncertain. For now, the empty hotels and shuttered restaurants stand as stark reminders of the cost of division in an increasingly interconnected world.